A year ago. It was an ordinary Friday in March. I had just finished work. I had planned to spend the upcoming weekend with my family. Of course, they had no idea. I wanted to surprise them. My family lived 124 miles away. It was 11 p.m. when I hit the road. After an hour of driving, a slight drowsiness settled on me. I was passing through a wooded area at that moment. To shake off my drowsiness a bit, I cracked the car window open. Just as I was about to play an energetic song, I heard a sound. It was a woman's voice. The sound was coming directly from the forest on my right. As soon as I heard that sound, my drowsiness disappeared. I was very scared. I pulled over to the right to see what was going on. A voice inside me was telling me not to go towards that scream. I immediately called 911. I reported hearing strange sounds in the woods. The police might take a while to arrive because I was in a wooded area. I heard the screams again. I thought I should check what happened to the woman. For my safety, I always kept a baseball bat under the car seat. I grabbed it and started walking towards the forest. I was heading towards the direction of the screams. I saw a woman lying on the ground covered in blood next to the bushes. My heart was racing. I didn't know what to do. I was in panic. Then I dropped the baseball bat and approached the woman. "Hey, what's wrong? What happened to you?" I asked it. The woman turned her face towards me, started laughing, and said, "You stupid thing, look behind you." I was even more tense. When I tried to look behind me, someone hit me on the head with a baseball bat. I passed out. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the ground covered in blood. They had taken my phone, wallet, everything. When I saw the blood, I fainted again. Then, when I woke up again, I found myself in the hospital. I couldn't remember anything. I had taken a heavy blow to my head. When I asked the police what happened, they said they received a scream report in the woods and found me unconscious on the ground. The police had also informed my family. My family, their eyes swollen from crying, came to me and hugged me. I can still vividly remember their tears. My friend had planned a party for her university graduation. We were going to have fun, play games, eat food, and enjoy the party until the morning. I had planned to stay the night, but things didn't go the way I wanted. My sister had called me to tell me that my father was a little sick and to take him to the hospital. My father's health was, of course, more important than my friends and the party. After parting ways with my friends, I headed towards the hospital. As I was driving on the motorway, I saw a car stopped in the safety lane. There was a couple and a child inside. I didn't want to stop because I had to rush to the hospital because of my father's illness. But I chose to stop so that the little boy wouldn't get cold. It was freezing. I got out of the car and asked what the problem was. The man said that they had run out of fuel and the nearest petrol station was 12 miles away, and asked if they could get some fuel. I told him that I was in a hurry and that I could give them enough petrol to get by. I took out the fuel hose from my trunk and started pumping some petrol. After I gave them the fuel, the man said, "I want to pay for it." I told him that I didn't want to, that I was in a hurry, that I had to leave immediately. The man replied, "Wait a minute. I don't want to be burdened by this help. I want to give at least a small gift." I was waiting for the man to give the gift so as not to offend him. What was that? The man got out of the car with a shotgun. He shouted, "Now, empty whatever is valuable on you." I almost froze. I gave him money, mobile phone, and whatever else I had on me so he wouldn't shoot me. They immediately got in their car and drove away from the scene. Fortunately, I was carrying a mobile phone in my car as a backup. I immediately called 911 and explained the whole incident. After a short time, the police team arrived and they started searching the vehicle. After a 1-2 hour search, I received the good news that the suspects had been caught. According to the police, the car was stolen and the couple had a long criminal record. After I got my wallet and mobile phone back, I saw that I had 8 missed calls. Because of this incident, I forgot that I had to take my father to the hospital. I arrived home at full speed. I saw that my father was a little better, but they thought that I was having fun and that I had chosen to stay at the party instead of taking my father to the hospital. When I told them what had happened, they said it was all an excuse to stay at the party. The fact that my parents didn't believe me hurt me even more than the horrible thing that had happened. My closest friend and I work at the same workplace. Since our homes are close to each other, we often share a ride using the company vehicle. We usually work until late hours. Our workplace is in the city, but our homes are in a calm area outside the city. We leave work around 22 and usually arrive home by around 22:45. On the night of this terrifying incident, it was just an ordinary Tuesday evening. Traffic was as crowded and slow as usual. I was driving, and I told my friend that I didn't want to deal with the traffic that evening and asked him to find a shortcut on Google Maps. After a brief effort, my friend claimed to have found a shortcut that would get us home earlier. Without hesitation, I started driving following my friend's directions. After a 20-minute drive, we found ourselves in a wooded area. My friend felt a bit cramped and decided to step away from the car to relieve himself while we were still in the forest. When he returned, he said that he had no signal on his phone. I thought it wouldn't be a problem since we were planning to leave the forest and return home in just 15 minutes. However, things didn't go as expected. The road was leading us deeper into the forest. As we continued, we saw a person in a green vest working clothes ahead. I thought we could finally get directions and find our way back home easily. As we approached the man, I explained that we wanted to avoid traffic and take a shorter route to get home quickly. I also mentioned that we lost our way due to the phone signal being cut off. The man suggested that we wait for a while as there was a risk of a tree falling ahead. I turned off the car and helplessly waited with my friend. Meanwhile, I kept an eye on our surroundings and noticed something strange. What was it? I saw someone approaching from the rear view mirror with a baseball bat. Without wasting time, I quickly turned the key, started the car, shifted into gear, and began moving forward. The man ahead, although not very large, placed a log in the middle of the road to block our path. We were in a state of panic. The man with the baseball bat was rapidly closing in from behind. My friend yelled at me to step on the gas. We swiftly passed over the log and started to distance ourselves. The men were following us from behind in a 4-wheel drive Jeep. Finally, we reached the main road, and as we sped away, we managed to lose them. When we got home, we immediately called 911 and reported the incident. Due to the excitement, we forgot to check the license plate of the vehicle. The police found nothing when they entered the forest. We never considered going back there again. One night, as I was returning home, I was on a peaceful journey. I accelerated a bit and noticed a car behind me. Quite normal. Then I realized that wherever I went, it was following me. When I sped up, it did too. When I slowed down, it did too. Maybe I thought it was just someone going in the same direction, but something felt strange. There was no one beside me. I couldn't see the driver's face. The inside was dark, and complete silence prevailed. Well, maybe they needed help, I thought, and decided to stop the car. The other car instantly stopped as well. Now I was starting to worry seriously. I couldn't see the driver's face, and the inside was silent. I rolled down the window and asked if they needed help, but there was no response. At this point, I began to feel a strange knot in my stomach, as if something was not right. I wanted to reverse the car and put some distance between us, but every time I moved, the other car moved too. It felt like it was playing a strange game with me. Trying not to panic, I tried to believe it was just a coincidence, but the feeling of being followed did not leave me. I took random turns, went back, but the car was still following me. It had a persistence that wouldn't give up. Finally, I saw a prominent gas station. I went in, and the other car stopped in the same way. I couldn't see the driver, and it was silent all around. Hoping for people around at the gas station, I waited for a while. I got out of the car, but the other car was still running. I gathered my courage and went inside. The other car was just standing there, the engine running. Everything was quiet. After waiting there for a long time, I went out and the other car had disappeared, leaving no trace. I set out to go home, but I didn't want to turn my back all night. I don't know what happened that night, but I don't know whose car it was and why it was following me. It just remained as an unforgettable night drive.